So I used to work for the Philadelphia Eagles, right? And I used to do PR for the players. Now, in that job, you tend to get close to some of the guys, you know. And one guy in particular, a guy named Dahani, we got pretty cool. So one night, Dahani asked me to roll with him to a Roots concert. I love the Roots, right? So I'm there, let's go, right? Roots. So the concert was amazing. You know, and afterward, we're kind of in this little section, and Dahani's holding court. He's doing his thing, signing a few autographs. So I decide to walk around and take a look and, see what's going on, take the scene in. And that's when I see her. Oh my God, this girl, she was gorgeous. I mean, her face was breathtaking. Her hair was dark, curly down at her side. She had this white dress on with black floral patterns. It swayed at her hips when she walked. It was like she was gliding across the room. I was smitten. And as I'm looking at her, my head starts to sweat. My heart's beating through my shirt. My stomach is in knots. I thought I had SARS. I'm telling, SARS was all over the news back then. I thought I was an absolute goner. But then it dawned on me, I'm like, no, you know what? This must be what it feels like to have love at first sight. This has got to be it. It must be, because I've never seen this woman a day in my life, and I've already picked out a name for our first child. Ronald. It was absolutely perfect, right? But I'm so nervous, I don't know what to do, so I end up running back over to where Dahani was, and I grab him, and I'm like, dude, I just saw my future wife. And he's like, what? I'm like, I'm telling you, the woman I'm gonna marry is right over there, she's here. And he goes, show me. So I grab him, I'm walking through the crowd, I'm looking, my head is on a swivel, and I see her again. The same feelings come back. And I'm looking at her, I'm almost, proud as if I'm already with her. And I'm like, I look at Dahani and I'm like, yo, man, there she is, that's her. And he looks back at me and goes, competition's a bitch. And he heads straight for her. I cannot believe what's happening. I'm watching this unfold. I'm like, oh my God, what about Ronald? I'm over here, I'm shitting myself. I'm like, yo, I did this. I just ushered the woman of my dreams into the arms of a muscle-bound millionaire. This is my fault. He's gonna get her. They're gonna take trips together. And I'm watching, like, they're talking now, and she's giggling and shit. I'm so mad. I'm like, this fucking guy, he missed 3 tackles last week against the Cowboys. 3 tackles. But then I'm like, nah, man, nah. Snap out of it, man. You ain't no punk. Fight for her. Fight for love. So I'm like, right? Shit. Plus, I read one time that, most women don't even like rich men. Right? No? Is that? Okay. All right. Okay, I didn't read that. I wished it. I wished that. Anyway, I needed a plan, right? So I'm thinking, I'm like, all right, I'm in Philly. Everybody loves the Eagles in Philly, right? So I'll get her some tickets. I'll bring her out to a game, give her the VIP treatment, and then we'll elope. Perfect plan, right? So I wait for my opening, and I go over to her, but I'm still nervous as hell. I go over to her, introduce myself, and I'm not charming at all. I was just too tightly wound, and I'm repeating myself. I'm like, man, the Roots are really consistent. And then 3 seconds later, I'm like, if I had to pick one word to describe the Roots, consistent. I was an absolute cornball. So I'm like, all right, it's time to execute the plan. So I say to her, hey, you ever get out to any Eagles games? And she says to me, oh, no, I don't like football. I don't watch it at all. Now, any warm-blooded American knows that in this moment, you must pivot, right? You got to adjust your approach. But not the guy with 2 thumbs. I was too nervous to improvise. So right after she tells me that she doesn't watch the sport, I go, oh, yeah, I can get you some tickets, no problem. Have you out. I was mortified. So I just gave her my business card and kind of like blended back into the crowd, embarrassed. It was pretty bad. I'm beating myself up about it the rest of the night. Even the next day at work, I'm at my desk and I'm just still like, damn, like, I fucked it up. Like I missed out on my chance, right? I just wasn't smooth enough. And then out of nowhere, an email comes through. Boom. And it's Rebecca, the girl of my dreams. And she says that it was a pleasure meeting me, and she actually left her number. It took everything in me not to email her back. Why? What the hell? But I guess it was true love, right? It was true love at work. This is what it looks like. And so we end up talking a little bit, and it turns out she was in the entertainment industry herself, and she was really turned off by like singers, rappers, actors, and professional athletes. So Dahani never stood a chance anyway. That was all in my mind. And then me, she could tell that I was extremely nervous, but she thought it was sweet. She thought it was genuine, right? Aw. So we end up going on a date, and it was amazing. I mean, there was chemistry, attraction. We had a great conversation. So shortly after, we start dating. And again, it was amazing. I'm on cloud 9 for about 1 month. And then the whole thing went to shit. I mean, we argued all the time. We argued about everything. We argued about my friends. We argued about the past. We even argued about things that I couldn't change, like my age. So she was a few years older than me, and apparently that was a sticking point. But I'm like, what do you want me to do? Yell at my parents for not fucking sooner? Like, can you imagine that? Like, no, y'all were lazy. I should have been here 3 years ago. Like, I don't know how to get older. You know, what do you want me to do? The whole thing was just drama. And so I'm gonna tell you the straw that broke the camel's nuts. So we were having one of our many arguments, right? And this one was over the phone. And she says, you know what, why don't I come over and let's talk, face to face. No problem, come on over. So she comes over and we're talking. And believe it or not, we're actually having a pretty good conversation. I was shocked. Like, this was going well. I'm listening to her. She's hearing me out. I'm like, wow, this is surprisingly, nice. Maybe there's a shot. I excused myself, had to use the bathroom. I'm in there for like 30 seconds. I come back out. Rebecca's not in the room anymore. I'm like, hello? So I step out into the living room, and I don't see her there either. I'm like, Rebecca? And I noticed that my front door was wide open. So I go to and I look out, and I see Rebecca in her car, hauling ass down the road, screeching off. I'm so confused, like, what the hell is going on? So I race back in the house to get my phone and give her a call, but I don't see my phone. I know I left it right on the nightstand, and it's not. She stole my phone. She stole my phone. Who does that? And then I'm thinking, wait, was this whole thing a setup? Did she come over just to do that? This conversation was really, really good. No wonder she took the phone. And that's not the kicker. Here's the kicker. I hope y'all are all sitting down for this one. She kept it for 2 days. 2 days. I'm going through my text messages, my call logs, screening my calls. Who knows what she was doing, but she kept it for 2 whole days. Needless to say, relationship over. I was done. That was the final straw. End of Chris and Rebecca. That was it, right? But I did have to reflect and think, like, what the fuck was I doing? Because we were together total about 10 months. And I told y'all there was only one good one. That means that 90% of this relationship was absolute trash. And I'm thinking, like, what was I fighting so hard for? What was that about? And it dawned on me, it was the moment that I met her. In my mind, I had created this dream scenario, this rom-com thing that's love at first sight, and I chased it, and I chased it, and I chased it, but it didn't have any substance. I made the whole thing up on my own, like a goddamn idiot. And you would think that I'd learned my goddamn lesson, right? Nope. I have repeated that move several times since then. And I think that by definition, that makes me a sucker for love.